Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we'll be going through the 9th placed from last year Carlton Footy Club, and we go through their fantasy preview for 2023. This will be an interesting one as they are very fantasy friendly in terms of their midfield, and with some fantasy friendly mids being out in the form of Sam Walsh, it should be interesting for other players to come in and fill his role and increase their AFL fantasy averages. Remember to like and subscribe, and let's get on to the players. So again, I have them in the list in this sidebar and highlighted the players that I'll probably go through here. Number 1, their top dollar defender, Sam Doherty, average 110 last year. If we go on to here, average 120, came home with average 110, came home with 120 in the last 3 and 118 in the last 5. And if we go to 2022, he didn't miss a game, and he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 17 tons and 5 non-tons, and he had 1, 2, 3 90s, and his lowest score was this 71 here. He's really consistent. I expect him maybe to be that filler role for Sam Walsh in the middle of in the deep mids. So he should be able to keep his value now as more information's coming out that Sam Walsh is going to miss. So he's going to come in. So maybe if we look at this, he had 160 marks in 22 games, which is around 7 a game. Maybe that drops to 5, but I expect his tackling numbers to increase a little bit, especially in the first half, which should be able to make up for the marking situation. And then Sam Walsh, injured round 1, I believe, from reports. So, yeah, put a line through him, basically, as simple as that. Paddy Cripps, and this one I can understand why he's, I guess if we call a player of difference under 5-6%, why he's just over that threshold, because you could think that there's value there. I personally don't think there's value at 102 average because of the Brownlow blip that causes a lot of players that win the Brownlow to dip the next season. I think it's happened 6 out of the last 7 years or so. So he might not necessarily dip because his average was only 102, but I don't think he'll get much more than that anyway. And I think at 900k, you can gamble on the likes of Petrarca and stuff like that, players like that around the same price range, to gamble them to go to 110, 115. Georgie Hewitt, I think, could be a guy of value, but it's just the way he plays. I don't think he can consistently get. He doesn't have the massive scoring potential of those like 140s, 150s that the likes of Cripps and Doherty have, to be able to get up to the 110 average that I think he needs to probably get at that price range, which probably puts him out of fantasy contention. Plus, also, you have to remember, he did miss some time with injuries back here. So he only ended up playing 15 games. If that happens again, well then that's pretty much a premium wasted, and you're losing at least 30 or 40 points going down to a bench player through a rookie. So I think that's too risky at the moment. Matt Kennedy, I just think he holds around the same price range. Honestly, now looking at he probably would dip down in price if Walsh was there, as in he'd average less. But because Walsh isn't there, him, Hewitt, Cripps, and Doherty will be 4 of the 5 or so that run through that centre majority of the time. So he probably holds value. Shearer is one that I'm actually now looking into. I just rewatched a couple of podcasts on other Carlton reviews and realised that he could be that one to step up. We look at his last 10, 110, last 5, 103, and he had this injury game in here of 5. I think doing the maths, that average goes up to around 93 if you take that game out. So 93 average. He also had a 62 here, which could easily be injury affected. and a 42 here, which was just a shocker, it looks like. So if you take those shockers out, then you start to see Shearer's averaging 95, 96. Will that bump with Walsh not being there enable him to get off to a good start, and for you to, say, hold him for, if we look at his 2023 schedule, hold him for these first 5, 6. He has a really good schedule up to round 7. Get rid of him after round 7 and he'll be averaging 105, 106, and then you'll have a good value player. Maybe you could even almost get Shearer up to the likes of Doherty or something else by just him going up by, what would he go up by? He'd probably go up by 70, 80k in that time frame, and then you can get Doherty by doing a rookie downgrade. I think that is an option as well that you have to consider. Blake Acres, I just don't think there's much value in there. He'll be a wingman, and I don't think he will get the inside mid time that he needs to be able to get good scoring potential. So that's why he's just not as much value. Saad, with Doherty most likely spending more time in the midfield, he could become an option. But he's priced at 81, so you really need him to go 90, 95 for him to be a good option, and I just don't think he could do that. If we go to 2022, last 5, he had a couple of good game stretches and stuff, but only 3 tons. You can't really put him in your side as a almost premium defender if he only got 3 tons last year. He might up that to 6 or 7 with Doherty in the midfield, but even so, the likes of even looking at Dacos as a first-year player, I think he would have had more tons than... He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had more than double the tons of Adam Saad and is around the same price, like give or take. So that's why probably not Saad this year. Then you have Williams is injured, which is a further case for Saad, I guess, in that you don't really have a ball-playing defender, but that probably introduces Lockie Cowan to the field. He probably gets a game, and even if he averages 60, that's what you need out of your bench players. Then you get rid of them after 4 or 5 rounds, and they've got 100k gained, and that value gets put on field, and you get another rookie in. That's the type of scenario I think we have here with Lockie Cowan. I think he plays potentially the first. If he plays and he can stay in till this game after West Coast, he'll be averaging 60, 70, and then you just get him out because he's going to not play as well against Brisbane, West Coast, Collingwood, in my opinion. He has this really, really tough run for, a month or so, and then he has easy games, Carlton do. So getting him out would be good around that round 7, round 8, when you can, he'll be around 400, 450k, and you can get him out, get him up to, put him back down to a 200, 250k rookie, and then bring that extra 150 to 200 to 250k and bring that on field, and you can pretty much upgrade any one of these guys, the 600k or above, to a premium. Moving on, I didn't see much value in the rest of these guys. A lot of key position players. They're Carlton's very top heavy in that they don't have many mid prices or lower price guys that are of value. So maybe Jordan, I could see taking another step up. He does have a very volatile scoring, so if he can get consistent, if we look at his full player profile here, if he can get consistent and actually get some good time, which doesn't look like... This was a 14, so you take that out, and a 19 here as well. If you take those, I think those were sub performances. If you take those 2 out, then he starts to average around that 44, 45, and it's not much, but as a first-year player, can he step up? Because I have a feeling he'll be sort of similar to the Tom Papley type player, where he can actually get a lot of disposals, and as we see here, he's got around 170 disposals in 21 games. So that's only 8 a game. So he's got to probably pick that up, in my opinion. But if you saw here, I think this was when Walsh and they had some injuries. He was picking up 12, 13, upwards of 15 disposal game. If he can continue that form that he had around round 9, round 10, he'll have some meat on the bone, but I don't think it's enough to have him in your side, as shown by the 0.4% ownership. Oliver Hollands could be a good early debutant, just because drafted highly. Where is he? Here. Drafted highly. I think he plays probably early on. He might play as a backup, he might get in on the bench just due to the midfield problems, but I doubt that. Binns, I'm guessing they drafted this guy this year, later on. And then you have even Sam Durden, who played 1 game. I think he got injured in the game. He could be on for playing again. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for this side. So that's my summary of the Carlton Footy Club AFL Fantasy Preview for 2023. If you want to watch the other outside of finals teams previews, there will be a playlist up in the corner. And if you want to watch my other AFL content, there will be another playlist. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks, guys.